Thank you, Sarah. Jeff Korzenik from the Fifth Third Bank. I think you're really representing a kind of a different voice on this panel, a voice from the business community. Tell us why you're here and why you care about this issue and how you imagine the criminal justice system being different.
Sure, thank you very much. And Judge, if you think it's hard keeping a judge to 3 minutes, try an economist. I'm going to share with you 3 slides that I share with thousands of business leaders around the country as I speak. These 3 slides embody how I envision change, and that change is much greater engagement of the business community. So we could pull up the first graph. This is, and I apologize if you're not a chart person, bear with me here. This is a chart of the rate of unemployment in the United States going back to 1948. It goes up, it goes down, goes up following in recessions, goes down in recoveries. The vertical gray bars are periods of recession. So the starting point for engagement of the business community is to help them understand what's at stake if we don't maximize our resources in the workforce. And what you'll see in this chart is when the unemployment rate gets very low, as it is right now, sooner or later a recession follows. You simply run out of room to grow. So what's the cost of failure to grow? Well, we're a $19 trillion GDP economy. Even very conservatively, we're growing at 2% a year. So if you give up a year of growth, that's $380 billion. And as I say to business leaders, not someone else's $380 billion, all of our $380 billion. And by most estimates, we are missing out of the labor force somewhere between 1 and 2 years worth of labor to grow. So the second slide is where I ask business leaders to think differently about the population that has been touched by the criminal justice system. And these are different measures of who's been touched. It goes from the left-hand side, the number of people who are currently incarcerated. You add up, moving to the right, you add to the next column those who are on probation or parole. You get to 7 million. The number that I'd like to hone in on is that the third one, that's 19 million. That's the number of people with felony convictions in the United States. And some are incarcerated. Yes, some are in the labor force. But I would argue, and I've never had anyone really challenge this, that of those 19 million, many of them are not in the labor force, and those who are in the labor force are underutilized. And that we should think of this population not as a cost, but as a potential contributor to society. Just for reference, the number on the right is the one you hear most often, 70 million people touched by the criminal justice system. It's a sprawling number. The 19 million with felony convictions is probably the number we should be focused on. So if we have the business community attuned to the cost of not doing anything, $380 billion for every year of growth we give up, if you have, and we need incidentally beyond demographics and immigration, we need about 1.25 million new entrants to the labor force, and there's 19 million people who are largely underutilized out there. That's not a cost, that's not a problem, that's an opportunity. And this opportunity takes a form, if we switch to the next slide. We've studied at Fifth Third a number of pioneering businesses across the country that have taken the step and have actually focused on reentry. A significant portion of their labor force has come out of incarceration. And what was remarkable to me in studying this is no matter the geography, no matter the industry, it all looks similar. And it involves a partnership between the business community, understanding the opportunity, the nonprofit community, supporting the opportunity. Here in Chicago, we have fantastic workforce development nonprofits that do this, and also recognition of government's role in this. And so when I'm asked to envision what it could be, it's a ecosystem where all 3 stakeholders, government, nonprofits, and business, understand their roles and what can be done here to make it better and respect the perspective of each of the stakeholders. Thank you.